I have to talk to you today. Yeah, you. We're going to talk about differences between Raleigh and Charlotte and where should you live when you're coming to North Carolina? Which one is better? I'm going to tell you in just a minute. So as a real estate agent, one of the biggest questions I get is which city do I live in Charlotte? Which one is the right one for me? The two largest cities in the state, Raleigh and Charlotte. I want to know which one's going to fit me better. So today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of each. And I have a special guest who is going to join us at the end of the video, and I will introduce them. So, hang out for a minute. So pros of being in Raleigh. First of all, recreation. There are tons of things to do. Pullen Park is there. The Credit Music Park is there. They've got the Neuse River Greenway, which is freaking 27.5 miles of trails. Like, if you can't find something to do there, yeah, you just need to stay home and Netflix binge or something. So recreation is great. There's a lot of different places to go. There's a lot of different parks to attend. I think that's definitely a pro. The second one would be the job market. The Research Triangle Park is there, so all the medical stuff is in that area. There's tons and tons of healthcare jobs. There's tons of technology jobs. There's some big companies there. There's an Apple there. There's an Amazon there. There's an IBM there. There's a Cisco there. Like, you get the point, right? Lots and lots of jobs. Along with that, and our third pro of Raleigh market is the cost of living. It's actually 4% lower than the national average. What? 4% lower? To live in a big city with all these crazy things to do? Yep, that's it. That's what I said. So I also love the fact that you have Duke, you've got UNC Chapel Hill, which my nephew goes to. Hooray. Well, actually, both my nephews now go there, so very exciting. And of course, you have NC State right there in that area. I think it's a fantastic place for the cost of living, the jobs, the schools, the recreation, you name it. Now let's talk about the bad stuff. Nobody likes to talk about the bad stuff, but I'm going to tell you about the bad stuff because you need to know. So number one on my bad stuff is the tax rate. You have a 7.25% state tax, and then you have a 4 to 5% overall income tax that you're going to pay in the North Carolina area. The public transportation in Raleigh is not great. Like, I personally feel like there's not a lot of sidewalks, so it's harder to get around. Some areas have sidewalks, but some don't. And then when you pair that with like bus routes and other public transportation, it's a little bit rough. So if you're not wanting to drive or own a car, you're going to probably be looking at Ubering or cabbing or lifting or whatever you want to do, right? Extra cost. The next piece to this is unpredictable weather. For some reason, if you live in Raleigh, you know that weather is going to change hour to hour. Hour to hour, it's going to change. If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes, that kind of thing, right? So summers, you're going to have hot, muggy weather and average temperature around 90 degrees. So it's a little sweaty or a lot sweaty. Ugh. But in the winter, your temperature can fluctuate anywhere between 20 degrees and 60 degrees in the winter and the fall, which means you might need a sweater in the morning and a tank top in the afternoon. It's crazy. Now, that's not the worst thing that can happen to somebody, but I do believe that it's something to consider, right? Okay, so here's my last one, and probably my biggest issue with Raleigh. Because there are so many people, relocating to the area, they're coming in, huge fluctuating growth in that area, the schools are having capping issues. So a school will be totally capped out, and they're going to have to either build a new school or put in a new school or whatever. So they're going to redistrict a lot. And as we talked in one of my previous videos, redistricting can have a really big impact on where you're purchasing your home. You don't want your kids to be in one school district for middle school and get moved to a second school district in high school. Now, there are answers to some of that. There's a lot of charter school options and private school options that are great. So it's not like a complete issue. It's just a matter of making sure it's the right fit for you. So the next one is the competitive housing market. If you want to live in Raleigh, you better come to play or pay. Yeah, pay. Yeah. The housing market is super, super competitive. We're seeing huge due diligence fees, like $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 in some cases. And even though the market has slowed some, it is still a hop-in place. People want to be there. So you are going to face that. Okay, so let's talk about Charlotte. Yeah, my city of choice. However, we're going to talk about the bad stuff first. The cost of living in Charlotte is rising tremendously. So while we had some cost of living that's 4% lower over here in Raleigh, in Charlotte, it's going up. People are moving here to this area so much that we are having a higher cost of living. It's increasing as time goes. We talk a lot about cost of living because that affects everything that you do, from the milk that you buy, to the bread that you buy, to the gas that you get, and everything else. I showed houses yesterday in South Carolina, and I went across the line and saved 17 cents a gallon on my gas. That's tremendous. Literally, the border of South Carolina is on the other side of Charlotte. So whatever. But anyway, the next piece to that is the traffic. I talk about infrastructure a lot, and that's because infrastructure drives me crazy. There are always heavy congested roads, and that affects not only the fact that you have to sit in traffic and then you're going to have road rage, but it also affects the fact that that's time away from your family on your way home from work. Now, if you work from home, that's not a problem for you. That's great. So the next piece to this is the public transportation is not super efficient. So they've gotten better over the years, but it hasn't been great. Now, the light rail has helped considerably because you can get around in the downtown area, but many people live in the suburbs or outside of the city, and that's going to make transportation a little bit harder. So my third kind of concern, or maybe my fourth, I think I'm at 4 now. Look at me just spouting stuff off. So my final concern with Charlotte is the lack of original culture. We've had a tremendous amount of transplants moving to the area. I moved here from another area. So there's a lot of people from Ohio, New York, California, New Jersey, Massachusetts, like you name it, we're all down here, right? So what does that do to the culture? Well, it kind of gives you a melting pot, which can be a beautiful thing. But what happens to the original culture of Charlotte? Like the original people that lived here and the way of life that they had and what they were growing for Charlotte, they were kind of like the best kept secret. Now the news is out and everybody's coming. Everybody's coming. And that's okay. But if 100 people a day move, you can imagine how quickly that culture can change. So let's talk about the good stuff, because there are a ton of good things about Charlotte. Tons and tons. Ready? All right. We've got Bank of America. We've got Wells Fargo. We've got American Airlines. We've got Honeywell. We've got Lowe's. We've got a lot of big corporations similar to Raleigh. So there are job potential is huge. There are jobs everywhere. You can get a job down here or transfer in with a job from here very easily. So job market is definitely amazing for me. We've had huge job growth overall as companies move to the area as well. Now, while I did speak of the cost of living rising, it is currently at a pretty decent rate. So people moving here from out of state or in areas where there are much higher cost of living, like New York, New Jersey, they can afford a lot more, which gives you more financial freedom down here. The house I was showing in South Carolina was for a family that's moving down here from New York. It was great. So that cost of living was huge. There's a big difference between the taxes they were paying there and what they were going to be paying here. Outdoor activities, this is one of the biggest things that I think Charlotte does super, super well. And we've got Carowinds, we've got Lake Norman, we've got the Catawba Greenway River, we've got the Charlotte Motor Speedway, we have the Whitewater Recreation Center, which is awesome if you have not been there. They have so much to do. We're going to do a video about it because I've had a lot of questions, but there's a lot of places to go. In Denver, North Carolina, just on the west side of the lake, we've got a huge mountain bike park that's being put in. They're going to have 29 something miles of biking trails. It's going to be legit. So that's coming very, very soon. Tons and tons of stuff to do outside. You can also, that doesn't even include the restaurants and all of the fantastic art culture that's here. There is so many cool places to visit. If you want the name of one, go to Camp North End. It is just the most eclectic, fun, vibrant, cultural place I've been in a long time. I loved it, had a lot of fun. We did a photo shoot there. So what is my next pro for Charlotte? Well, you guessed it, it's the sports teams, right? We've got a ton of them. We've got the Panthers, we've got the Hornets, we've got the NASCAR Hall of Fame, we've got, I mean, you just talk about all of the sports teams that are here and all of the things to do. There, you can get season tickets. You could just go to all kinds of, you know, I just want to go to this and that and this and that. And then concert season's really great too. I mean, Spectrum Center has fantastic concerts. We're getting ready to go see Janet Jackson at PNC Music Pavilion. There is so much to do here. The last thing I love about Charlotte is proximity to the mountains and the beach. So I'm 3 hours from the beach and I am, 2 hours from the mountains. So it's very easy to take a weekend trip and get away. Charlotte International Airport's also here in Charlotte. So that's not a half bad place to go to because you can get away and go just about anywhere you want to go. Bottom line is, Raleigh is going to give you a suburban lifestyle. Not as much like maneuverability within the city because of the lack of sidewalks in the general area, but suburban lifestyle definitely, right? You're going to feel a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more chill. You've got a lot of job opportunities, a lot of growth, a lot of housing market growth. Charlotte is going to give you more of a city feel, more of that bustling kind of moment to moment, walking down the street, hop into a restaurant and grab a beer at a brewery and then go to the Whitewater Center for the afternoon. So there's so many different places. It depends on what you're looking for is really the answer. It might be something else that you want to do. So I know I mentioned a special guest and I want to do this really super quick because I don't think you even noticed that they're here. They're here. Well, actually, they're here. Everybody say hi, Comet. My cat Comet is right up here. There, he's like sleeping, so he's not very happy, but he's been here the whole time. You didn't even know. My special guest, Comet. Give him a hand, everybody. If you need anything housing related, I would love to help you on your house search. So if you are looking to move to either Charlotte or Raleigh, give me a call first because I can hook you up with a fantastic realtor in the Raleigh area. And I think I know one in Charlotte. I'd love to talk to you and I'd love to help you. Give me a call. Let's talk soon.